Community Viewpoint.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And this week we have another environmental type program, which, you know, I love doing those. We have with us Tanya Henderson, who's the executive director from the Amargosa Conservancy. Amargosa, Shoshone, Tecopa areas, very near and dear to my heart. And Tanya will be telling us a little bit about what the Amargosa Conservancy does. And Tanya, the next 12 minutes is yours. So you're stationed out of Shoshone for the Conservancy?
Yeah. So I live out in Shoshone, California, one of about 12 people that live there year-round.
Yes.
And we do a lot of work throughout the entire Amargosa Basin drainage. So from the headwaters up in the Beatty area, all the way down through the Shoshone-Tecopa area, China Ranch, Amargosa Canyon, kind of as it goes, right by Dumont Dunes, and then at Fishhook.
To the very much critical area for the habitat. It's very fragile, and you have many different types of critters and things that live out there. And maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what the Conservancy does out there. Yeah,
so we actually have a great little video that's sort of a nice introduction to what we do out there.
Let's watch that.
A river in the desert. A habitat for rare species. A community based on ecotourism. A home. The Amargosa Basin is a uniquely beautiful place where life and water exist in a delicate balance with the arid desert. We are the only conservation group working 365 days a year in the northern Mojave, engaging in collaborative projects such as resource monitoring, trail construction, habitat restoration, and tamarisk removal, all aiming to promote the recovery of the basin's rare and endangered species. We take a stand for the land, for the water, and for the community, empowering local residents to determine the future of their beautiful desert home. We're the Amargosa Conservancy. Stand with us and join our community today.
That was a nifty little intro there. How long have you had that?
We got that on board probably about a year ago.
Okay, that's very well put together, professional. But you are professionals. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that they mentioned in the video then.
Yeah, so we have a couple big projects going on right now. One of them is regarding the Amargosa
habitat. 3 months ago, then he did.
Perhaps the most endangered mammal in the United States right now.
Okay.
And its habitat is limited to just around in the Tecopa marshes, but originally you could find it up in Shoshone, so where the 1 is on that map up there. And we're working with Susan Sorrells out in Shoshone, who's a very motivated and wonderful landowner, to create some habitat that will be for the vole again. So they require 3 square bulrush marshes, and we have some water in Shoshone, but we don't have 3 square bulrush marshes until we cleared out some land and planted some bulrush, and it just actually grew right up there. So you can see it green and healthy there. And currently it's senesces, which is just sort of a fancy word for saying it dies in the fall. Like trees, leaves fall. And then this bulrush will eventually turn into a mat. It'll kind of fall down and decompress and turn into a mat, and that's what the voles live in. So they tunnel and burrow, and you don't really see them very often.
That's why they do so well in the marshes over in Tecopa.
Right, where there's lots of 3 square. Yep.
Yes, because when I was hanging out over there, more so than now, we had some gentlemen that were looking for them, and they were trudging around there with their boots.
Yep.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
And what else do you do?
So that's one of our projects. Another big project that we're working on is out at China Ranch. It's actually it's a trail project, so it starts at China Ranch Date Farm with a nice trailhead, and then provides access to the river area. So we have a segment of the trail up here that we're constructing, and we're trying to create a trail that's easily accessible by lots of members of the community, and we also have this ADA compliant trailhead.
Yeah, that's brand new too, yeah.
It's brand new. We just kind of got it all online, and we're still working, you know, some of the little superficial touches, but the picnic tables are there, the shade structures are there, and so all it's lacking is everybody in their picnic baskets.
Right.
Head on over to China Ranch Date Farm. And also part of it, so the trail is to give people access to water in the desert, which is a pretty remarkable thing. And so this is also some habitat restoration involved with this trail, so we can show people what the habitat should look like healthy. And so what you see in this picture is a lot of those orange plants are tamarisk trees, and they're an invasive from Eurasia. And they outcompete a lot of the native vegetation, and the native species can't subsist on the tamarisk.
Right.
They're they outcompete things. And so we've removed all the tamarisk in as many areas as we can along the Amargosa. And so this is just a picture, and you can see the brown mesquite there, which is preferable to the tamarisk in there. So habitat restoration, not only for the vole, but also for other critters along the river, and then being able to provide some access for people to see it all. Because how do you know about it? How do you care about it if you don't have access to it?
Right. So you could see remnants of the old TNT Tonopah Tidewater Railroad going through the back end of the China Ranch down there. The trail goes through there.
Yeah. There's tons of stuff that you can see from China Ranch. So it's not only sort of this really rich habitat for lots of different species that you find because there's not a lot of water in the desert, but it's also where there's water, there's all kinds of life. So there's been human life around that area ever since there's been water. So there's old Spanish Trail, history out there. There's prehistoric history out there, and then there's all the Tonopah and Tidewater mining history out at China Date Ranch. And then, of course, now there's, one of the maybe the most diverse date farm in North America, run by Brian Brown out there.
And Brian's been here many times too, and he tags along with you too as a spokesperson too. Yeah,
so Brian Brown's been fantastic with the Conservancy. He's one of the original founders of the Conservancy, and he still cares a lot about it. So when there's conferences or presentations or interested, folks who have resource question issues, he'll often host them out at the ranch.
Right, because he used to teach over in Shoshone also. Yes. So he is a wealth of knowledge. So if you're at the trailhead going down to the river or just hiking, you can go over to the little shop over there and get a date shake or something and enjoy that and at the trailhead. So it's very, very comfortable, easy access after you make it down there. The first time down to the ranch is a little scary. That's true, but it's kind of an amazing experience when you go down there. It's like going from, a dune world into this lush, rich oasis. It's very, very beautiful. It's amazing. So I can understand why Brian had picked that to spend the rest of his life and do something wonderful like the date farm. So anything else that comes up on your radar? So we have a trail project for hikers, but then we also have a trail project for off-road riders. We're working on trail improvements in the Sperry Wash area. So sort of down by that 3 on the map. The Amargosa River joins up with Sperry Wash, which comes from sort of the talc mines up in the Kingstons, and you can see Sperry Wash. That area is just a lovely area, and it's a great, kind of gnarly off-road route. You can drive all the way up it from Dumont Dunes up to the talc mines, so a fun sort of trail riding, but it hasn't been very well marked, and so folks can get lost and can get off trail. And unfortunately, if you get off trail in that area, you end up in the wilderness unintentionally. You're surrounded by the Kingston wilderness, and if you end up in the wrong branch as you're kind of going up, you'll end up in the Amargosa River, which is a wild and scenic river, and it's protected for a good stretch. So we're just trying to make sure that the trail's well marked and delineated so that people can tell where they are out there. Right. And there's so much to see out there. You wouldn't believe there's even a canyon out there.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you could see different types of birding out there. Len Warren, I met him.
Yeah.
He's the bird man from out there. Let's see, the vole and other different creatures. Occasional heron will be out there. Brian has seen him. I've seen him. Have you seen any herons
Yep.
out there?
Yep, herons and egrets.
Egrets are
Crazy waterfowl that you would not expect in the middle of the
Yes.
Mojave Desert.
but it's a wonderful place to visit. And and your conservancy headquarters is in the Green Building, and you have a real snazzy little logo. Splash that on the screen. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's actually a place that you could see. That's out by the Pinnacles by China Ranch. So if you take the new trail from that trailhead at China Ranch and you hike down the Amargosa long enough, you can see our logo shot there in real life.
Right, so you're in the old Green Building, which used to be a Sears do-it-yourself building, but there's a lot of history behind that too. It's right next to the museum, across the street from the Charles Brown store in Shoshone. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to find, and you're usually someone's there during the week?
Sometimes.
Call ahead. Yeah, call ahead.
give us a call, send
Yes.
an email. We're a pretty small operation.
True.
It's just me manning that office year round, and then seasonally we get a lot of help, which is nice. But it's kind of hit and miss if I'm out in the field or doing a Community Viewpoint show or something.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I don't want to keep you away too much longer, but you're more than welcome to come back again. You are a wealth of knowledge, and it's a very pleasure to have you on the show to explain a little bit more about the Conservancy to the folks. You will have you have an invitation to come to our Earth Day, Arbor Day, April 22nd.
We
over
will
here.
be there.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll have a lot of folks like Tanya and other environmental groups out there also. So, well, you know how to get out to Shoshone, just the same way you go get a lotto ticket out there, folks. So, thank you very much for coming with us today. And I hate to leave on a sad note, but this past week, earlier this week, Marta Beckett passed away. The ballet dancer she was the Amargosa Opera House, Death Valley Junction. There's a picture of her there, and that's the way I want to remember her. So we bid her adieu, and we say good night to you and Marta. Good night.
Community Viewpoint.